The Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein will hear today President Cyril Ramaphosa's appeal against a Pretoria High Court ruling that invalidated his recognition of King Misuzulu kaZwelithini as the rightful Zulu King. The appeal comes after Judge Norman Davis's December 2023 judgment, which found flaws in the process Ramaphosa followed to identify and crown King Misuzulu, declaring the recognition unlawful. For more on this, let's now cross to our reporter, Makgala Masiteng, who's at the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. It's over to you.
Of course, during the break, the proceedings are still taking place inside. We are expecting to come back at 2 o'clock, of course, to continue with those arguments. When we attend, it was Senior Counsel Thembeka who was still arguing the case, of course, representing King Misuzulu kaZwelithini in this case where President Cyril Ramaphosa is appealing against the judgment on the North Gauteng, which set aside that his decision to recognize King Misuzulu as the king of Amazulu. So currently what is happening is that we are outside, and there's also Amabulu who have come, of course, to show their support to the king, and we have heard of the messages that they give him, of course, saying that what is of importance here is that there should be unity when it comes to the Zulu royal family. But I am standing with Prince Tulani Zulu, who is representing the royal family, just to take us through what we have seen since in the morning and what this means, especially for the royal family, what we have seen in terms of the proceedings. Thank you very much for joining us.
As you can see, the Amabuto and the Zulu princes and princesses, we've gone all the way from KZN to Bloemfontein just to support the president, because he is the one who have appealed this decision of the judge. Now they are here just to look if the procedure that was followed before the certificate was handed over, it was correct one. And now we have started. The judges on the part of the president, let me say, the lawyers of the president have presented the cases and have seen what were the shortcomings on the judgment of Davis. So, but in fact, I don't even see the reason of looking at the procedure, because the president took a decision to recognize the king, because the king on the 20th of August 2022, the king entered in the crawl, which is Ungena Sibayeni, that completed the installation or the coronation of the king. So the president has to come and recognize and issue the certificate. So, but we are here as we are respecting the law. We are law-abiding citizens of our country. We listen to the judges as not and say what and hear what they say.
Of course, this dispute has really caused some kind of division within the Zulu royal family. I've heard some of the messages that were shared here that you are saying as the family that what is important is the unity of the family.
In fact, it has happened long ago. When there is a succession, it has not been a smooth succession or a smooth transition. There are some differences here and there. At some time, it went into a war. We're happy that today there is a court where we can sit around and then look at and see the judges, what they say. The aim here, after the decision has been made, as the Zulus and as the royalty, we want to just unite and be one again, because it's so scandalous for the Zulu royal family and for the nation to get divided like this. We only hope that today's judgment or tomorrow's judgment will come out, and then we will be united behind the judgment that will be pronounced.
And of course, these proceedings, as you have indicated, are going to be in 2 days, today and tomorrow. And initially, we had expected that King Misuzulu will also be joining us, but I understand that he's no longer going to come.
It has never happened. You see, we have had so many cases since from Pietermaritzburg and to Pretoria. He has never attended because there is no need for the king to attend. We are here, we are representing the king. So he must sit down and relax and pray. If you can remember what we called the Battle of Ndondakusuka, King Cetshwayo also fought the same battle. He was kneeling on a shield. In fact, he was praying. We hope the king, wherever he is, he's in a prayer so that the ancestors can hear our prayers and unite this nation at his time.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll, of course, continue to talk to you as the proceedings continue.
Thank you so much.
That is Prince Thulani Zulu from the royal family, speaking, of course, on behalf of the royal family, saying there that it is of importance that coming from these proceedings, that as the royal family, they are able to unite. He is admitting, of course, that there's always some kind of dispute every time there is the process of succession, and he is noting that it's better now that there is, of course, this processes of court, unlike in the past when sometimes it even went to a war where they had to resolve these matters. So as he has indicated that King Misuzulu, kaZwelithini, will not be here, but he hopes that wherever he is kneeling and praying that, of course, this matter be resolved. So when we come back, we are expecting Senior Counsel Thembeka Ngcukaitobi to continue with his argument, standing on behalf of the King Misuzulu, to, of course, talk about some of the arguments that he's been making, that there is no issue when it comes to the identification of the king on this matter, because he says everything was done properly and all the processes were followed. But the issue here is the matter of the processes that it is said that were not properly followed in terms of the recognition certificate that was issued by President Cyril Ramaphosa. But some of the arguments that they have been putting before the justice today was the fact that King Misuzulu, kaZwelithini, is the relevant person to become the king because she is coming from the royal blood. In fact, he was noting some of the laws in terms of the customary law, that everything in the customary law has been done properly, so in ensuring that King Misuzulu is the rightful heir and the rightful person, of course, to succeed his father. They were also arguing about Prince Semakade, who also at some point challenged this matter, that there is no way that he can be the one succeeding the king on this matter. But we'll, of course, keep you up to date. As you can see, there's a lot of action outside here at the Supreme Court of Appeal.